Hi guys, welcome back to Lex Alexas. Today we are going to conclude my prediction to the Championship Playoff semi-final. Is it advantage Sunderland and Sheffield United? Is it already game over? I'm going to be discussing the two playoff results in my thoughts, and obviously I'm going to predict the second leg as well. If you guys like what we see, please smash the like button. It really does help the growth of this channel. Please do hit the subscribe button too, as we're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. Your support certainly doesn't go unnoticed, and please share the channel too. All of that really helps. If you guys want to predict the scores for these games, you can absolutely do that by leaving your comments down below. But without any further ado, let's start previewing the Championship playoff games for their second legs. So we start off with Sheffield United against Bristol City, and it's certainly advantaged Sheffield United. If we go onto the capture now to see what the last result was, you can see here it was a 3-0 away victory to Sheffield United. Certainly there were a good core of people predicting Sheffield United to potentially get a win in this game, but most of the predictions I would have seen would have been a win by a 1-goal margin, not by 3 goals. Now, the frustrating part for Bristol City, and maybe the annoying part of this game as a neutral, that red card decision certainly changed the momentum of the game. Sheffield United scored a resulting penalty which led to the red card from Rob Dickie, and then in the second half you can see here it was practically one-way traffic, and Bristol City couldn't really cope with the pressure for the second 45 minutes. Gotta say again, brilliant performances, Harrison Burrows and Callum O'Hare, who has been good whenever he's featured all season. So to talk through the bit that people have been arguing over social media is the Rob Dickie red card decision. Now, I can pretty much say for 9 out of 10 comments by what I've seen, people are agreeing that a penalty would have been awarded. We've certainly seen much softer penalties being given than the one foul, what that challenge has been given as a penalty. But certainly the argument is whether if it was a red card offence. So the argument is whether Rob Dickie attempted to play the ball as he was fouling Kiefer Moore in the box, and it's the timing of whether when did he play the ball. Did he play the ball after he fouled, or did he try to play the ball as he was fouling Kiefer Moore? Because that difference there really does make a whole lot of a difference with it being a red card. It's a very skeptical one, I'd say, and I can understand how people would perceive it a little bit differently, but it's more of a frustration for Bristol City because that decision, I could easily go either or, and it certainly has gone against them in that part, and I know they will appeal for it. I don't know as of so far today if they have successfully appealed for it. I've not heard from their Twitter at all, so I am going to assume it might not be disallowed. So that's potentially a really big player that Bristol City are going to be missing for that game. So stats wise, if we do scroll down here, you could see that even like if we go to the first half, because practically you could see the possession wise it was Bristol City, but in terms of the chances that were made, it was Sheffield United. It did seem to me that even when Bristol City did have a lot of the ball, it was Sheffield United that just had that quality. It looked like it had that experience of knowing how to create those big chances. And I think even with 11 men on the pitch, I think Sheffield United may have been able to find a winner in the end. But it's hard to say. There's lots of ifs and buts in this, and I would have predicted that it wouldn't have been as one-sided as a 3-0 away victory if it was 11 versus 11 for the whole game. And that's what's frustrating for Bristol City's point of view. But yeah, stats-wise, you can see here, it is certainly very, very dominant for a Sheffield United point of view. Now, what's great about the playoffs, we could see amazing comebacks. One speaks to mind. I mean, recently we had the Sheffield United Wednesday comeback against Peterborough in League One, where they had to overcome a 4-goal comeback. I actually remember watching it live on TV, and it was amazing. I just don't think I would have ever seen anything like that ever again. Bristol City are going to have to do that sort of similar level comeback if they want to get something from this game. One thing that may scare Sheffield United a little bit slightly is that in their last playoff run, it didn't end up well for them. They lost in the semi-final to Nottingham Forest on penalties. Circumstances were a little bit different. They actually lost at Bramall Lane, but they won at the City Ground, which actually ended it up in a penalty shootout. I think the advantage now for Sheffield United, they've actually done the hard bit, getting the away win at Ashton Gate, which Bristol City, on the whole, have been really, really good with all season. Just going back here to remind you for how good Bristol City are at home, that really was the biggest challenge for Sheffield United, with Bristol City picking up 46 points at home in 23 matches, so 2 points per game. But Bristol City's point of view, they are now away from home. They've only picked up 22 points, which is actually just under a point a game. So it is a very big difference in that point of view. And you can see with Sheffield United, they picked up just under 2 points a game away from home. And at home for Sheffield United, you can see they picked up 49. They've actually got a slightly better home form than they have done with Bristol City at this point of the season. So Bristol City's last experience of the playoffs, they were ahead in terms of against Crystal Palace all the way back in 2008 in their playoff semi-final. They ended up needing to win at extra time, so didn't make it easy for themselves. And then obviously we know the story of them losing to the playoff final in the end to Dean Windass against Hull City all those years ago. So tough one for Bristol City to take. And I do think here with this game, Sheffield United being really strong at home, Bristol City have got so much that they need to get in their way. I'll be very interested if Bristol City do score first, can they get a second goal quickly? I think 2 very quick goals and 2 early goals for Bristol City will really put the pressure on Sheffield United. But the longer it stays in Sheffield United's control of the game, I think it's just going to be even more difficult for Bristol City to get something from this game. Prediction-wise, we really could see anything, but I could also see Sheffield United being ruthless enough to try and kill the tie off. I'm going to go for a 3-1 home victory to Sheffield United, and that will confirm that Sheffield United will be in a playoff final. Let me know what you think of this playoff tie in the comments. And of course, our last game we're going to predict is Sunderland and Coventry, where it's advantage Sunderland. And fair play to any of you that predicted a Sunderland win, because I could tell you with most of the predictions I've seen, they were very, very confident viewers, other YouTubers, of Coventry getting the opening win at home. I thought if Coventry weren't going to win, it may have ended up in a draw. I did not, for the life of me, expect Sunderland to pick up an away win in the way that they did. And I gotta say, from the very little of the amount of game that I saw because I was in the pub, it was an amazing performance from Sunderland. A perfect away performance. If we do look at the stats, you would see, based on the attack momentum, it was Coventry that were really, really pushing for the win. 1.7 XG to their 1.46, but you can see very, very clearly, despite having so much of the possession, nearly 3/4 of the possession, stats-wise, Sunderland were pretty even. And that tells me that Sunderland utilised their chances on the ball a lot better than what Coventry did. They sat back, they waited for Coventry's backline to make mistakes, and lo and behold, especially the winning goal, they profited of players making mistakes. With a high-stakes game, that's probably what they saw in that game. They probably saw a young squad in Coventry, excited but also prone to maybe making the odd mistake. And Sunderland used their experience, and I've got to say, Reggie Labrie really outdid himself tactically here. I've got to give him a really big shout out. So this game, you could see it took to the 68th minute for the opening goal. So if we were able just to get the attack momentum, it did look like it was Coventry just probing, holding on to the ball. And then even like inside the second half, you could see that the momentum was less. So the game was starting to fizzle out. But then that goal for Isidore really opened things up. Rudoni hit back immediately. But a devastating goal to give away in the 88th minute. Van Eyck making the error which led to that goal. And I do feel for him, and I fear for Coventry going into this game. Can they pick themselves up from this position? I do remember very vividly, again, this was an unbelievable moment for Frank Lampard personally, when he was Derby manager. He lost his opening game at home against Leeds, and of course, against all odds, he beat Leeds and actually got a sweet revenge. And I know it ultimately ended in a playoff final defeat, but that game still to this day is being talked about as one of the greatest comebacks that we've seen, just from the sheer size of the task and just for how cruelly underestimated Derby County were going into that game. So all hope is not lost for Coventry, but they are facing Sunderland at home at the Stadium of Light, and I've still kept it on the home form. You can see that Sunderland have lost their last 3 games, but I think what that game taught us, with of course Sunderland winning the game in the way that they did, they had eyes on this game. And they thought about this game for a long while. They've rotated, of course, and, you know, they put their full squad out there, or at least the best people they had available, and they executed the game plan perfectly. So it does tell me that Sunderland still offer a massive threat. Coventry, if we look at their away form, you could see that they're not even in the top half. In fact, they're right bang slap in the middle in 12th place, 24 points, so just over a point per game on the road, and that does give me a little bit of concern here going into this game now for Coventry's point of view. So I am not by any means saying that this game is a foregone conclusion. This tie could throw some surprises, especially if Coventry score first. If Coventry score the first goal in this game, oh my gosh, we could see an absolute classic. Unfortunately though, I do think with Sunderland doing so well at home for most of this season, and I think the sheer task that Coventry have, it's going to be a toughie for me for them to see a good result. Ultimately, if Coventry do win away and they do in the end go through on an aggregate score, it wouldn't surprise me because the players can throw surprises like that. But in all honesty, going into this game, I don't think there'll be a lot to separate them. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. What that will mean is that Sunderland will go through to the final on aggregate, and we will get a Sheffield United and Sunderland play-off final. Sheffield United, if they win, they'll get an immediate return to the Premier League. Sunderland, if they win, they will be back in the Premier League for the first time, wait for it, in 8 seasons. So we could see absolute quality leading up to that playoff final game if it does happen here. And that's if all my predictions came true. I got none of my predictions and outcomes correctly in leg 1. Who's to say that I'm going to get any correct in leg 2 either? But as always, guys, I love to see your predictions as well in the comments. So guys, that wraps up my thoughts. I think it's going to be a Sunderland-Sheffield United play-off final. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. And let me know of your thoughts of the Leg 1 games as well. I'll be interested to hear your views of the current debates going on those games as well. Who do you think might be joining the Championship for next season? We do know Leyton Orient and Stockport played out a draw. We're going to see Wickham and Charlton play against each other very soon as well. Who do you think is going to be joining Wrexham and Birmingham? Let me know of who you think will do that in the comments down below too. So that'll wrap it up for today. If you guys enjoyed, please do smash the like button. Please do hit the subscribe button too. And please share too. It really, really helps. And your support really doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you guys as always for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw any of this video. And as always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.